Thank you for joining us today. Today we are going to go over the new Integration Hub inside of SIGNL4. First up, we'll see I have loaded up on the right-hand side my SIGNL4 mobile app, and on the left-hand side I have the SIGNL4 web portal. On the left-hand side we have a new menu option called Integrations, and this menu option loads up our new Integrations Hub, which is now where we have all of our events. We've removed them from the signals and moved them under the Integrations Hub, as well as our new items of the distribution rules, the installed, which is your actual connectors, the gallery, which is where we start to create the connectors that would then show up under installed, and our API keys that can be used internally and or externally to send items to and from SIGNL4. So the first thing I want to do is let's go ahead and take a look at our API keys. So this is going to work the same way it has previously. We'll have listed all of our API keys. I can click on one and we will see the name of it. We will see the settings for the API key itself. We have the option to regenerate or go to the API Explorer, where we can actually use our API keys inside of set API definitions. I'm going to go back to my Integrations Hub, and we can delete and add new ones inside of this page as well. So when we add a new one, we can give the API key a name, choose how long we want this API key to be valid for, up to unlimited, whether this API key is read-only, and whether or not we restrict this API key to work for just one team, or if it'll work for all teams when it's unchecked. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and go back over here to our gallery. And our gallery here is where we have all of our default connector apps, both the two-way connectors and our generic connectors, and you can come in and create as many of these connectors as you need and or wish to create. And when you create one, we're going to by default create a new distribution rule for every single app. And you can add distribution rules or remove them and change them around as needed in addition, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So first what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I'm just going to create a new app, and I'm going to go ahead and create one of our generics. So we'll see down here that we still have the SMTP email, so you can still be able to send emails to your SIGNL4 team to create alerts, as well as our webhook/REST API down here under webhook. And we have both inbound and outbound for webhooks. And for now, we're just going to mess around with the inbound to create alerts inside of our SIGNL4. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the webhook, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a name. And you can name this anything you'd like to. You can give it a name so you know where the events are coming from. Or you can even name it like I'm going to, so I know which team is going to receive the events on this particular webhook. Once that's done, you can actually enable team ownership. And when you enable team ownership, this allows for the selected team to be the only team that will be able to use this connection. No other team will have access to the events, and they will not receive alerts from this connection when this is selected. For now, I'm going to leave this unselected for my purposes. We'll see here that we're going to create a new URL with the API key after we click on the creation, the install button. And we'll see here that I can create a distribution rule by default, selecting which team. So I can do both teams right off the bat, or I can just leave it to one team for now. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on the install button, and this is actually going to jump me over to the installed page, and this is a list of all of my apps that I have currently installed. We'll see these darkened ones are the ones that are disabled, and the lighter ones are enabled and ready to work. We'll see it automatically goes to my IT Ops team's webhook, the one I just created. And we'll see now that I have my new URL. And we'll notice here that we have one distribution rule already created by default. And this is going to say any event that gets created and sent to this webhook, we're going to automatically create an alert for the selected team. And we can get more information here by clicking on the link. And that'll actually take us over to our distribution rules page, where we can actually see the distribution rule that was created. And you'll see here that it gives it a name, a distribute all, because that's what it's going to do. We'll see it gives it a brief description, and it is enabled turned on. And we'll see that it selects the source, which would be the installed app. In this case, would be the webhook that I created. And we'll see here that I have no distribution criteria, which means every event that's going to come through will be created and sent to my Jedi Masters team. And it also lets me choose if I want to force a category on the incoming events, or if I would like to allow it to just use the keywords by default, which is where it's set automatically. If I click on this drop down, I can choose any category that I have set up for that team. And in my case, I'm going to use the IT category because that's the option that I'm doing with my team. So I save that. Now, if any event comes through, it's going to automatically be set to that IT category. And we can see that in action right here. So now if I go over here to my events, I just sent a new event in, and we should see a new event show up under my events tab, which is correct. We see it went to the IT Ops webhook that I just created. And if I expand this down, we'll see that it went to the Jedi Master team, and it went straight to the IT category via this distribution rule, and that it was signaled. And we can see on my phone here that I did actually receive the signal, and it is on the Jedi Master team, and we see the purple IT category set for that. And if I open it up, we'll actually see the full alert, and I can acknowledge this as needed. So now if I go back to my distribution rule, and I'm going to go back under this specific distribution rule we have created, and now I want to actually add some criteria to this distribution rule. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this Set Criteria button. And this allows me to add conditions to this rule. So I'm going to add a condition that says severity is greater than 15. And I'm going to add a second condition for an and my text contains XA4, which is my database system in this particular case. So I only want to alert if both of these criteria are met. So if I apply that and then save the distribution rule, so now then if I create a new event and lower my severity to be under 15, we'll actually see this event comes in, but then it'll be filtered out and no alert will be created. So I sent in a new event. I'm going to go over here to my events tab, and we'll see that this new option was created. We'll see it still went to the same integrations connection. However, no rule or target, which means there was no alert created. And we'll see on my phone, I did not receive any new alerts. And that would be because my severity is under 15 now. So now if I go back in and create a new one where my severity is above 15 and send this in, we'll see a new event come back in. And this time you'll see on the phone that we have the new alert created. And we'll see that it again went to the Jedi Master team in the IT category following this distribution rule because my severity was above 15. Now I'm going to do one last test, and this time I'm going to leave my severity, but I'm going to change my database system from the XA4 to the XA5. And I'm going to send this in. And again, we see this event come in, but it's not sent because the database system does not match what I need in my distribution rule because I set that as XA4. So now, if I go back to my distribution rule, you have the ability to add as many of these criteria as you would like, and you can even change them from ands to ors and group them as needed in addition. So you can create a distribution rule to match the criteria you need to make sure that you're sending alerts to the correct teams at the correct time. So if at any time I would like to, let's say in this particular case, I have, as we saw here, my rule is set to severity is greater than 15 and the text contains the XA4. So I can actually come back into here and create a new rule that we are going to call severity low. I'm going to choose the same webhook, my IT Ops webhook, and then I'm going to set this criteria. And this time I'm going to add the severity is less than 16. This makes it so anything from 15 and lower will be in this lower category, and we will create the alert using this. So now what I want to do is I want to go to the Jedi Masters again, and this time I'm going to automatically route to the, in my particular case, I'm going to choose the machinery category. And then I'm going to click on the create button. So now I have two rules. One that is distribute on, I'm actually going to change this to severity high. So I have a severity high rule and a severity low rule. And I'm going to remove my text from the high rule. So I just want the severity to be the only item that the rules care about. So now, if I send in a new alert with the severity being 10 again, we will actually see this new alert comes in, and we'll see this time it went to the machinery category because it matches the severity low rule. And if I send a second one in with the severity at 20 again, we'll see both events come in, and we see that they go to two different categories on the team, or even two different teams if I wanted to, via the different rules and the matching criteria. So this is one endpoint sending to two different categories or two different teams if I'd like, and we can actually see that in action here too. If I go back to my role, and we're going to change the severity low, instead of going to the Jedi Masters team, we are going to remove that, send this to the Superheroes team, and we're going to choose the minor category, and I'm going to save that. So if I send in a new event with a low severity, we see this new one, and now we still see it went to the ITA Ops webhook, and we'll see that we hit the severity low rule, but we're going to the Superheroes minor team. And this is just some of the items we can do inside of our brand new Integrations Hub inside of SIGNL4. Thank you, and have a nice day. Goodbye.